Live from our bedrooms to make this buddy read. I did it again. There was doubt there. There was doubt there.
There was doubt.
Well, I was waiting for the little live icon, and I didn't see it, and I was just like, oh, I started too soon.
No, you didn't. It got the whole thing. You're good. Yes. But if you wanted to say it again, it's fine.
No, then it's going to cheapen the effect of me stuttering over it like a buffoon.
Totally true. Totally true. Oh, that's so funny. Goodness. All right, but yeah, we are live and it is streaming to YouTube flawlessly. Yay. I hope it continues to do that because Joe is also watching YouTube in the family room, so I hope it doesn't lag. Is he watching us? No, he's not, because we've already established that he doesn't watch my videos.
I was just going to ask, is he watching us because his mom does? Mom gave him too much grief last week, and he's like, I guess I got to get on here and see what I have to do.
Right? I guess I got to watch her. No, I was like, I don't want your pity watch. No.
We got enough cool people in here. We don't need you.
Yeah, we don't need you. It was so funny. I was dying laughing. We already established he doesn't watch it. So funny. All right, everybody. All right. We're here. Nicole from Who Picked This Book. You're on my channel, so I hope you know who I am.
I'm Jen. I co-host sometimes.
I co-host sometimes. I have my wine. We're ready.
I have my water. I've been having a lot of coffee today, so I have to drink the liquid water.
The liquid water.
Because it's 111 degrees outside. 111. Really, and I have like 17 lights on in here. So hopefully you can see me, and I'll just sweat it out.
Yeah, I have my ring light on. I got the overhead light on. And then the sun is still out. Sun is out until like 8 o'clock at night.
I finally, in front of my, because in the afternoon, I actually have the sun hit my window. So I put up a blanket because I don't really have curtains. There's not really a need for them in the wintertime for like less than 3 months of the year. So I decided to put up a blanket, and it actually blocks out a lot of the light.
Nice.
So let's see how that works. Yep.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. Yeah, you have to almost have blackout curtains like 100% of the time.
It's probably why I wake up so early, because when the sky's awake, I'm awake.
I'm awake, and I have to play. But that is 100%. Like when we first moved into our house, we didn't have curtains on our bedroom window, and I would be waking up at the ass crack of dawn because your brain releases a chemical that wakes your ass up when there's light out. So
yep. That and a little Jack Ryan. I have a small, tiny little wind chime in between my window and the actual blinds. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why that word was hard.
So hard.
And so he'll climb underneath the blinds.
No, I was like,
he'll climb underneath the blinds.
I'm just gonna post that to Instagram saying we're live.
Okay, you're fine. And then it's usually about 4:45 in the morning, and he starts to play with them. And I'm just like, okay, buddy, I know that you want to play, but it's mom's sleep time, so shh.
So shut up. No,
but
it's like,
point,
no,
it's like
Mom,
you're already awake.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, screw this.
Yeah, he just wants to play. But children. Yeah. Aaron's here. Hi, Aaron.
Is it updating for you? I'm like, I don't see anything. Maybe I need to go back and forth. I
have YouTube up, so I'm looking it on YouTube. So let me look at, that's the private chat. Yeah, it's supposed to be coming through. Well, if it's taken a while, let's just wait. But I do see his comment on the YouTube. So
okay.
Hi, Aaron. Maybe it's just a StreamYard thing.
Yeah, it might be. So you're gonna have to let me know what people say, because I've got no access, unless if I go live over here on my
that's what I do. I have another browser up with YouTube over here, and then I have StreamYard over here. That's how I do it, just to make sure that we're still running and,
Oh, there it is.
Thank God. It's like a 8-minute delay.
We thought we were delayed. No.
No. Conversion to StreamYard is delayed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Erin, did you book through both of them, or was it just, did you do it? Come on.
Did you read both the books?
I read both of them and the novellas in between, but that's because you can listen to like almost 3 speed on Audible, and they had them there. So you can, I think one of them was supposed to be like 2 hours long, and it actually ended up taking like 20-30 minutes to read.
Yeah. Was that the one with Nike and Atlas?
Yes. Okay, so in that one, they said that they're going to go hunt out the Lords of the Underworld, but let me just tell you, Maharet, hey!
Maharet is here!
3 a.m., you go, girl!
The MVP, 3 a.m. That is commitment, and we love you for it.
Ooh, Erin read both. Nice.
Erin read both books. Maharet, we are talking about both books 4 and 5, both of them.
We went above and beyond this week.
Erin, convinced us to do it, honestly. It was his idea.
And we have no self-control, so we're like, yes, all right.
We're like, he suggested it. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
Okay. So, he skipped the novellas. That's okay. They weren't, I mean, I actually really love the novellas. I feel like they added to it, but you still learn what you needed to. So I really liked 4.5, which was The Darkest Angel. So that was,
Danica and Lysander. Not Danica. Bianca.
Bianca, there you go.
Bianca. It was Gwen's sister, Harpy's sister. Yes.
And you start to learn a little bit about Olivia in there. So
yes.
I mean, they went over a lot of the major things, but literally I remember, and I think I texted you, and I was like, having read the novellas, her like running to Aaron was heart-wrenching, because they were like, yeah, she was bleeding on her back, and I was like, he literally said in the novella that the first thing that they're going to go after is your wings, and then they went into like detail with it, and I would go, okay, I could have done without that little tidbit of information.
And I was looking, because I was looking through because when I started reading The Darkest Passion, and we start like basically, and we're talking about book 5 first. I'm so sorry. I just have to get this off my chest before I forget about it. But because it just starts with Olivia running towards the fortress. So it's like, but I thought, because I vividly remember that scene of her getting tortured and, getting her wings cut off. And so I was
ripped
just like,
off,
wait.
Not cut off, ripped
and
off.
I was like, wait, where is that? And then I'm just like, oh, I did read the novellas, duh, because last week I was saying that I didn't. But I was like, oh yeah, because I remember Bianca and Lysander, and I was like, oh yeah, I really liked them. And I was like, here I am thinking they got their own whole book, and I'm like, no, they didn't. It was a novella.
Oh, they were really good. They're good.
Maharet, I love the Harpies too. The
Harpies are the best.
They are so, like, honestly, like them with Anya, I love them so much. Honestly, they would be like the best of friends. They would get you into so much trouble, but then they would also help you out of it,
Well, and it's so funny, because I remember the reason why we read both of them is because we're like, I don't want to read Sabin's book. I want to get right to Erin and like find out what's happening with that whole story. But then like I'm reading The Darkest Whisper. Sorry, I had to figure out what name it was. The Darkest Whisper. I'm like, it was actually the first one that I really enjoy. Harpies were the best.
Harpies were the best. I loved the like the steaminess, I felt like, was kicked up a notch in this book, because it got like kind of dark. I was like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it.
I'd be like, sign me up for that war.
Right. Yeah, Aaron, if you don't read the Darkest Angel novella before The Darkest Passion, it will feel very sudden, like, oh, like, who is this person? And then you find out, like, oh, she was the entity that was following Aaron around for a while. And then you're like, well, what happened? That all is explained in The Darkest Angel. So yeah, I wish that she, it was kind of like Lysander and Bianca had like their own story, but totally hang out with them. Yeah,
oh, for sure. And
I like book 4 better than I thought. Yeah, you're just like, because you're with the original lords, and you're like, no, I want all of them to get their happily ever afters before the new ones that were introduced like halfway through. And Sabin was like, kind of like the newer lord, even though we did meet him in book 1. But I love Sabin. I love him so much.
I think that's why I liked it so much, because I went into it with such low expectations. I was like, God, I gotta get through this book so that I can get through the one that I really want. And then I'm like reading it, I'm like, I love this guy. Like, this story is the best.
I'm just like, yes. And I just love Gwen's. I actually love like the female main characters, like all of them, their arcs, like throughout the book is just so amazing. Like both Gwen and Olivia, they're like tortured. They have really bad post-traumatic stress. And I just love how they turn into like badass boss bitches by the end of these books. And I'm just like, yes, girl, I'm living for it. I'm living for it. I love it.
It's so true. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. So yeah, book 4, we have The Darkest Whisper, and we follow Sabin and Gwen. Gwen, we're introduced to, basically a whole new cast of characters, and you kind of can tell how they're going to be, sprinkled throughout the book or the series for the rest of, time, however long.
I was like, if they don't stay, I'm going to be so pissed.
So, but you kind of have to introduce more people, like, as it goes along, because, everybody needs a happily ever after, and, everyone needs a happily ever after. And there's like, we only have one female lord, y'all. It's Cameo. So it's like,
can I just say,
we need more females in the mix, So
I hate the narrator when he talks about Cameo. I was like, I understand that she's supposed to be like misery and just like sad and gloomy, but he's like, you don't watch Friends, but anyone who watched Friends, it's like Ross going, hi guys. It's just like, that's how he portrays her, and I'm like, can we just not? Like, I hate a guy imitating a girl trying to sound like a guy, and I'm like, that is the worst. Like, just no.
And it's like, it's also like, I feel like it would be very hard to portray Cameo's voice, just because she's supposed to hold all the misery in the world in her voice and in her eyes. So it's like, you're supposed to want to kill yourself when you hear her speak. So, I mean, I guess it kind of works out because he's like, does a really bad job. But sorry. Sorry. That was kind of harsh.
Like, it's just, it's not, I have thoughts. Can I vocalize them? No.
Yes. I mean, yes, you can. I mean,
I can't, the words, I can't find the words. Like, it's not that he does a bad job. It's just that it's terrible.
It's not that he does a bad job. It's just terrible. Well, if it's not him, then why is it terrible?
It just is.
I knew you were gonna say that. Aaron's like, Ross, so true. I mean, yeah, I don't really watch Friends, but I think I've seen an episode. I think I've seen that episode, honestly.
There's multiples where he just comes in like doom and gloom, and he says, hi guys, and he literally just sounds like someone punched a baby that he was watching, and then the mother's like, you'll never watch this child again because you let my baby get punched. Like, that was his reaction. Oh.
Oh, that's awesome. But like, we're like 5 books in, and you've read the novellas. Like, he's not growing on you at all.
Oh, so for the narrator?
Yeah.
So he is starting to grow on me a little bit, because I've kind of gotten past the fact that I hate him to the core of my soul. I've just kind of come to expect it, and I tune that part of my hate out.
You know?
But yeah, so.
And when you kick it up to 3 times the normal speed, you kind of lose like the annoying inflection that he has in his voice.
So I actually dropped it down to about 2.7. I think 3 was just making me hate him so much more.
Really?
Yeah. And 2.7 was enough where maybe I was paying attention more to the story than I was trying to like focus on his voice.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But yeah, no, I definitely like these. I think I've rated these ones the highest out of all of them. I think I did book 4 was 4 stars, and so I gave them both 4 stars, but I think the last one I gave 4.5, like as an actual rating.
This one?
Yeah, Darkest Passion.
That's really interesting because I like The Darkest Whisper more, and actually The Darkest Passion is like probably my least favorite book of the entire series. But we'll go into that when we talk about The Darkest Passion.
You don't like Legion. She makes bad decisions. When I know that we're going to start talking about like all of them. They're going to be mixed in between. Let's just be real. This is how we talk about books. This is why your editing is so difficult.
Jumping back and forth, which is why we're doing this live, because editing like discussions between me and Jen is actually a nightmare. Like
we have tangents. We don't talk about the things for like 50 minutes. It's usual. That's usual. But
just have nonsense going on for a half hour.
When she was like, you have to make me transform in front of him so that he knows it's not a trick. And then I was like, he's got to sleep with me. And I'm like, come on. Gross.
Legion. Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. We will.
I also don't like the voice that he has for her, but I get it. She's supposed to have a lisp, and then she's supposed to sound like a child. And I'm like, can we just? I mean, good job, but at the same time, like, you make my ears hurt when they portray those people. Which means I'm not looking forward to Torment's book with Cameo because I'm pretty sure that they're going to end up together somehow.
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna turn back to.
Oh no, Aaron didn't like it. Oh, he's disappointed. I shouldn't say he didn't like it.
I tell you, this book is huge too. Look at the size difference.
It is. That was the other thing. I was just like, we're back to like 1 million pages.
This jumps hardcore. And I'm just like, and it's shit that we didn't need. I'm sorry. But I'm just like, honestly, the most. Okay, if we're going to be talking about Dark, let's fucking talk about Dark Passion. Okay, so what I liked most about this book is Nightmare, Scarlet, and Gideon. That is what I liked about this book. And it's literally like this. It's literally this part.
I have so many questions on that. Like, when is Gideon's book?
I think Gideon's book is next, honestly. I think it's 6.
Darkest Lies? Yeah, because he can't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Well, he can't tell the truth. Not he can't tell. I know what I meant.
He can't. Yeah, he can tell when someone is lying, and he can't tell the truth. So that no comment face. Maharat, you've read the series. You know. You know. So.
But yeah, he was like, oh yeah, the implication that they were married. I go, oh, what? I need so many more answers. And he goes, yeah, she's in the cage now or something. And I'm like, I need answers.
I'm totally Team Legion. It was like, who's this Olivia woman? Get her out of here.
No. Okay, so question, Aaron, did you actually physically read the books or did you listen to them? Because listening to them made me hate Legion so much. And I was like, they're good friends.
Hello, Charles. How are you? I know you got the first book in this series, Charles. I'm just wondering if you've read it. A third of the way through Darkest Lies now. Ooh.
Oh no, I need to catch up.
Oh, Aaron is ahead. And Maharat's like, I've read all the books several times. Like Maharat, like I've only read this series. This is only my second time reading this series through. So Maharet, like, obviously knows more than I do. So
she's going to keep us on track when we start trying to put our own lies in here, being like, I remember it this way. And she's going to be like, like, no.
Actually,
it may be 3 a.m., but here we are.
It may be 3 a.m., but she's firing on all cylinders. She's here.
Yeah,
she's like, bam. So, but yeah, so for Legion, and you kind of, I think it's in this book. I have a post-it note about it. And when it was one of Aaron's points of view, when he was really trying to help Paris, he was talking about Legion and how, like, he loved her like a daughter. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So that was just put out, into the open. Thank God, because this book was a disaster when it came to that love triangle was a mess.
It was so gross.
A dumpster fire. It was it was bad.
It made me feel dirty.
Honestly, I'm just like, I mean, I get it. Like, there is like the unrequited love trope, and then there's this nonsense. Like, what is it? Don't get me wrong. I love the series. I love that book for the positive things in that, but that whole, like, them fighting over him, it was just, no. I haven't started. Is it smutty? Yes, it is, Charles.
I like his comment down there. I need mindless, easy smut. So not necessarily mindless, but it is easy.
Yeah. I mean, you get through it pretty quickly. I mean, the audiobooks aren't very long at all. But if you listen to the audiobooks, if you're reading physically, then you could probably get through it even quicker. Yeah. But it does, like, especially you're going to find when you're reading that first book that a lot of characters are thrown at you. My one advice is to just go with it. Don't try to understand everything at once. Just go with it, because I've had a friend just totally give up on this series because of just the sheer amount of people that were thrown at you in the first freaking book
alone.
Yeah. Audible escapes. I could see the transformation of Legion coming a mile away, so the list didn't bother me too much. I was wonderful. Me like, you think me a boy lot? Yes. So she was like, I am a girl. Thank you. And I was like, well, sorry, nobody knew.
Like, you're very hard to distinguish on Audible. Like, I just don't know.
Not even just on Audible. Like, if you're physically like reading her description, she looks like a lizard. Like, I don't know. Looking at a lizard, I can't immediately tell if it's a boy or a girl.
Now, once it starts doing little push-ups, and then I'm like, you're looking for a mate. You must be a little boy.
You're trying to show off your muscles there. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was super cute. She's like, no.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, the transformation, like, as soon as Legion was starting to show interest, which was really awkward, because I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like, I get it, but at the same point, like, it felt unnecessary.
That's what, I mean, I don't...
Because it just came out, it felt like it came out of left field in this book. Like, had they started, like, leading up to it, like, maybe Legion made some comments in, books 1 through 4, it could have made me think a little bit more that she had a different perspective versus him, but I never really got that from her, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was just like she was just all over him just because they had a connection, kind of, right away, and she calmed him, and so and even she said, like he played with me, he and she wasn't in hell anymore. Like, she was bound to Aaron, so she didn't have to go back there. Yeah. So it's like, it was kind of, especially because we don't even get, Legion's perspective until, like, she makes that deal with Lucifer. So it's just like, even, and that's kind of, it is kind of out of left field, and it did feel unnecessary. Like, why are you adding like such like a love triangle drama where it could have just been like, it's established in this book that Aaron thinks of her as a daughter, so it's just like, that was like just like such an easy way, for you to not to include that, dumpster fire drama in this book. So, is
it because we needed to get to the point where Legion and Galen?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well,
does that play factors into things later? I don't know why, but I really enjoyed that moment.
I think Galen enjoyed that moment too. He was like, "Holy crap!" Like, dang. And it's like,
he was all for it.
He was all for it
because in the way that Aaron describes her, I see her as like a little kid. So it's very awkward. That was the other thing. I was like, how old are you? Like, how old are we supposed to be portraying you as?
That is how he does see her. He sees her as an innocent. He sees her as childlike. And he even said, like, in this book, he even said it might be because of her lisp. You know, it's just like, and she acts very innocent, or not really innocent, because like even Olivia said, like, you know, she's a demon. She does, you know, bad things, but it's like, hey, like she doesn't know like the worldly, you know, like lust, sexual attraction, love, things like that, you know. It's like, so she is very innocent in regards to those things.
Okay, you know who it reminds me of? We're going to start talking about another series here. The Dark Hunter series, Acheron, and I can't even think of the name. Help me out. His little tattoo lady that sleeps with Nick, and then he loses his mind.
Artemis.
No, not Artemis. The one on his body, the tattoo dragon.
Simi. It's Simi.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's who, and that felt like the same kind of connection. So I thought they were going to become like best friends. He was going to be like a dad to her. And then she's just like, I want you to bang. And I was like, no. No.
She's like, no, I love you. And then like, she makes this deal with Lucifer to get like this banging body, like basically everything like Olivia isn't. And I just like, that's so petty. That's so petty. But I'm like, okay, whatever. And then so she makes this bargain, and she's like she like lays out all these things. Yeah, see, Mahara, now she even Simi, she's read the Dark Hunter. She's read the Dark Hunter series.
It was blank. I was like, I can literally hear her voice, and that narrator is fantastic, and I love it so much. I wish he was narrating this particular series, and I probably would love it so much more.
Yeah,
but I do remember you saying that, you know, a 1-star difference with the audio.
Mahara did say that. Yep,
she did. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. But so and it's kind of like that whole thing with Lucifer, and I was just at that point I was like, girl, you deserve whatever you get, you know. And I was like, you're just gonna, and you can just see how it's gonna play out, because obviously Aaron isn't just gonna let Lucifer, you know, into her body and destroy all the lords. And it's just like, oh man, that was just like such like an agonizing, just angsty moment, just like, because you know everything's gonna turn out all right, and it's literally just like 100 more pages of nonsense that I was like, oh really, do we need this extra drama? Like, it was already a drama, because he held out for a very long time. I have a post-it note in here somewhere of like, it was like right here where they finally like consummated their stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like this is a longer book and you waited this long. It's like, he was good at holding out. He's like, no, I can't be with her. No, I have to be alone. No, like, and if his demon said more, like one more time, I was about to like punch myself in the stomach. This was actually like the first book where the demon fell in love with her before the Lord did, and I thought that was so funny.
That's why I might have liked it more.
The demon was just like, he's usually like, you know, with wrath, he's usually always like, so, you know, like almost like all this pent up aggression. And then when Olivia was around, he was just quiet and content. He's like, I like her.
Although now wrath is in Sienna's body, and I'm like, no.
Oh God!
What are you gonna do to me?
Well, at least we know she's still alive. Like, she's still there. She still has a body. But yeah, honestly, that's gonna drive you nuts until you get their book, which is in 3 books. It's in 3 books, though.
I know. I've got so much to read between
4
now
books.
and then.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think there's any novellas in between, though, so I should be able to audible it up. And we're off next week.
Oh, yeah. We don't have a live stream next Wednesday. Who are we?
I don't know. This is like the first time in 2 months. I have no idea. Oh, no, that's not true. We have one at the beginning of this month. But still, the first planned one.
Right.
It'll be weird. I do remember that week that we decided not to do the live stream. And I got to about Sunday and I did not my week just felt weird. I was like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know where I am. I don't know who I am. Like everything just felt way off because when you're in not even in quarantine anymore, but you're just you're staying in the house because honestly, Arizona is blowing up. We've got new records every day for cases. And so it's just like you need something consistent. And so this is one of the things that's fairly consistent for me. So when we don't have them, I'm just like, what's happening?
What's happening? That is so funny.
Oh, goodness. All right. So should we talk about the Darkest Whisper? What do you have words?
I'm going to get some crazy killer Siennas.
Oh, no.
I'm not talking about it. Okay.
I knew bad things were going to happen before good. Well, because he saw her in town, so I was just like, yay! And then they're like, yeah, we put wrath in her body, and I was like, no.
No, dang it! Like seriously,
I guess everyone has to have supernatural powers, and she was too human. So at this point, it's just like, well, yeah, there's her supernatural power.
Exactly. It's just like every female has to have like some sort of paranormal ability, just to be able to.
Angel.
Yeah. But yeah. So I'm not going to say anything about that.
You're like, so Darkest Whisper.
So Darkest Whisper. Yeah, where this is Sabin and Gwen. And I love Gwen so much. I really, really do. She had such a transformation, like just in the arc of this book,
Yeah.
And Maharet, she just puts her cool sunglasses on. Like, I know stuff too.
Guys, I need answers, but I also don't want to be spoiled. So
That's true.
I'll have to keep you guys posted. Somehow, some way.
It's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Well, and I feel like, so as much as I want to continue with this, I don't want to get too, like, I wouldn't even say tired. Like, I feel like I need to read something in between it before, like, a different romance. So I need to do, like, a different, like, maybe a trilogy, just to give me a little bit of a taste of something else. I don't know. And then come back to it and finish it out.
Side changeling. I got the best paranormal. I got the best paranormal romance series stuck in my throat. Side changeling. Sorry.
Is that really what you got stuck in your throat? Make sure you put not safe for kids.
I know. I was like, let's edit this. Not safe for children. Honestly, I should just. Because I put it as like, I have to mark every video, like, is this made for children or is this not made for children? I should just put it.
Would not be.
I should just put like a all over my channel. No, none of my content is made for children. Like, honestly, because.
Unless if it's like a child's book and maybe I'm not here to talk about it with you.
Because there's gonna be, because I talk about middle grade and like children's book, but not on a regular basis. So I don't want to be like, I don't want to put that blanket over my channel when sometimes I do make stuff for kids, but I don't know. I'll just have to go in there.
Can you do a mostly not safe for kids, like manga in between? That might be good. Yeah, maybe instead of a trilogy, just like a good standalone. Ooh, I have the Sweet Surrender series, though. Or the Sweet series, I should say. Sweet Surrender was just the first book.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, like, she's like, when they call her Gwen, they call her Gwendolyn the Timid, and then she just goes, like all out in her.
On them.
Yes, her harpy form. I'm like, girl, step on my neck. I love it. I love it so much. And she's just holding the trachea in her hand. I'm just like, yes. But he deserved to die because he was like raping those girls in front of her, and I'm just like, no, that's terrible.
See, and that's at one point, and that might be why I didn't love this book, because they did reference it multiple times. And we do know that I don't like rapiness and stuff. So
yeah, we don't mark any of our videos as for children, even when our children are in that. Honestly, because, when, honestly, especially when we're together, I blame you for this. When we're together, Jen, some things come out of my mouth. Some things come out of your mouth. And,
It's just, it happens. We bring out the best in each other.
Thank you. Thank you. And then also, like, I have this huge, like, that I'm, sucking down this wine here. It's like,
I had coffee, so that's my version of alcohol where it turns off my filter and I don't have enough time to process. Like, maybe I shouldn't say this, but whatever.
Maybe. But so yeah, that we learn that harpies are spawns of Lucifer, and we learn that what I really like about this series too is that it mixes a bunch of different kinds of mythologies. Like, it also, like, we have like the Greek mythology. I love that. I love like the Titans, and then we have the Greek mythologies. But then they also like Gena Showalter also puts like really well-known religion in there as well, like the one true deity, and then we also have Lucifer. So it's just like tying everything like all together, which I really like. It's like, it just makes, and then like also like we have angels, in these books, and so I just really like it.
I know you haven't watched the TV show Lucifer, but literally when they introduced him, it was the first thing I thought, and I was just like, I really want to rewatch this series now.
I do need to read that series.
So Season 5 is coming in August.
I've heard nothing but good things, but it's a show that I would have to watch by myself because Joe has no interest in watching it.
Yeah, Laura doesn't either. I tried to get her into it, but she doesn't like that.
That kinds of stuff, and I know exactly what you mean by that.
But it's just like, I get that he's the devil and he's got bad thoughts on things, but he's trying to be a good guy, and I love the detective relationship. Yeah. I can at least drink 2 Guinnesses.
You can, before your thighs start tingling.
Did you guys make a bet for me to drink 3, or did you do 2?
I did 2.
2.
I did 2.
I could have done a third that day.
Laura said you wouldn't be able to finish your first one. I was like, that's a mistake. That's a rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Yeah, even Aaron said he enjoyed the multiple myth structure. I love it. I loved it. It just throws like an extra little thing in there, an extra.
And it's nice too because it's like she adds another one in just as you're getting kind of tired. Not tired, but you're just like, okay, this has been consistent for a while. Like, not a whole lot new is happening. But then we pop something new and I'm like, oh, look, it refreshes the whole series.
Absolutely. Gena Showalter is really good at that. Sherilyn Kenyon is really good at that because her 45-book series, like, how do you get me to keep reading them? Because she's amazing. Yeah. That's why. And then she throws new stuff and new mythologies in. Like, every few books, she's like, okay, yeah, Greek mythology. Okay, here's some Native American mythology. Every couple of books, okay, here's some, I
can't think of any right now.
Egyptian mythology.
The Egyptian one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, I'm just like, you are amazing.
I'm really mad though because the way that the last one ended, I was just like, I need answers, and I looked up what the next book in the series is, and it's going to be like a bunch of short stories again. And I'm like, not the time for short stories.
You're like, I need a new book. Thank you. All right, well, back to this series. I really
at least I'm not comparing it to Black Dagger Brotherhood right now.
That's true. Thank God. But I also really like Gwen is not like thousands of years old. She's only 27, like 27 like human years. And I love this scene. It's just she's speaking to Strider, and he's asking like, how old are you? And she's like 27. Is like his brow puckered and he blinked over at her. 2,700 years, right? It's like, no, just 27 plain ordinary years. I mean, he's like, you don't mean human years, do you? No, I mean dog years. I read that. I was dying laughing. I was like, I'm in the middle of my office at work, and she's like, no, I mean dog years. I'm like, I was laughing so hard. I was like, Gwen, you're quick. You're quick.
She reminds me a little bit like the sassy humor of Ashlyn.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. A lot less tame. So she's kind of a mixture. Anya. Yeah.
Yes. I knew who you meant.
Right? God, who's who? I need the family tree guys. Yes. I know who I'm talking about, but I also don't know how to say the right names at the right time.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true.
But at least in the back, I discovered that's blown out. You guys can't see a thing. In the back, it says Lords of the Underworld, glossary of characters and terms. And I remember that we were talking a couple weeks ago about that. There you go. Yours isn't blown out.
Kind of.
And so they have it, yeah. Baden, Keeper of Distress, Deceased. Yeah, is he? Pandora, Immortal Warrior, Deceased. I don't feel like it.
Well, in this book we do. Okay. But yeah, I do need to print out that family tree because that would be awesome.
I need to stop looking at this or I'll just get distracted.
Get distracted. Okay, so also you think my next post to note is basically about Cameo and Turin and how that whole scene, like before, you know, they're kind of like friends with benefits, but not really the benefits because they're only touching each like themselves. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you can do. You know, I feel bad. I feel so bad for Turin. Like, oh God, I can't even imagine not being able to touch anybody. But
I feel like with the technology that they have, or at least the money, someone should be able to do some like BDSM bodysuit for him, just like fully covered so that he can actually.
Honey, they don't even know what Tylenol is. Like they had to figure out what Tylenol was in the first freaking book, which also drives me nuts because we have Turin, who is like very big on technology. Like he knows stuff. He's super smart. He controls like all the stocks and how they make money and the security of the fortress. But you don't know what freaking Tylenol is? Like
he knows stuff for them and they're immortal. Do they have need of it? No.
That's true. They don't need Tylenol. That's right. You're right.
Logic.
I
had to try and make up a reason, so
yeah.
Pulled that out of nowhere.
Thanks for breaking me down there.
Keeping you real.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad Pandora is still around. I hope she gets back in the fold. Yeah, because we get to their kind of afterlife for the lords, and you know, Baden is there, and Pandora's there, and I was just as soon as. Like they still hate her so much and she's so snarky. I'm just like, oh my God, this has like the perfect makings of like a hate to love, like between her and Baden. And I'm just like, oh my God.
You would think.
Well, I think I mentioned that couple would be boring, but then that scene came along and I named Steve fan.
Yes.
Like Charles, that's just, every time I don't want to spoil something or I can't talk about something, I'm like,
yep, every time. Rude.
every time. But sorry, like you don't want spoilers. I don't know what you want me to do. But anyway, I really feel bad for Cameo and Turin and
well, because nobody wants to be around her because she's like depressing AF, and you're like, come on, stop talking. Yeah. You make me want to like take my own life.
Yeah, seriously, like because she's but that's got to get sucky after 1,000 years, and she just wants some loving too, and like Turin wants some loving too. But honestly, like just from his little perspective, saying like, would he even thought like, would she be his first pick? And like he said no, like no. And even through like her, like it's not like her point of view, but he was trying to have like a real like heart to heart with it's a human miracle drug. Yeah, it can bring people back from the brink of alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Alcohol poisoning.
She was literally like they were giving her CPR and like, let's get her Tylenol. That'll make her better. I was like, that's not how this works. Like she was literally dead. Like I don't understand.
No, I was thinking more about this last book, Passion, where he like it was a dark liquid, and then her comment where she was just like, I understand why people would give their last dollar for this miracle beverage. And I was like, yeah.
Coffee, yes. Oh my God, so funny.
Sorry, keep going. Next poster.
No, it's fine. Because, Turin was really having like a heart-to-heart with Cameo. It's just like, is this what you like would have picked for yourself? Like, you don't feel like you deserve more than like a person who can't touch you. And, she was like, and at the end of the chapter, he was just like, well, what if you do find someone, you know? And then she's just like, well, stop. And there was no mention of like what happens when he finds someone, because like he literally can't touch anybody. And I'm like, oh, that just my heart hurts for him. I love him so much.
And so I have his book, and I was looking at it, and we think this one is long. His is twice as much. I'm like, it's a weapon. It's like an Outlander book. It's hurtful.
It's over there. I'm looking right at it.
It's huge.
It's huge. But honestly, it's like, girl.
It had to happen at least once while we discussed these books. We behaved for the most part. All rules are off the table now.
All rules are off. We've already said that this isn't suitable for children. So obviously, because we're talking about banging. But I also, my next post-it note is really just like a thought. It has nothing to do with really anything. But every time they talk about Sabin's jewelry, like his bracelet, and it has to say man bracelet.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just think that's so fun. I was like, man bracelet. I'm like, wait, what? It just has to be like really specific that it's a man's bracelet.
Well, I guess like that's very okay. While we're talking about like having to be very specific, does she know any other word other than nipple? Because I feel like I can't believe I haven't brought this up before, but like I'm reading it and they immediately start talking about it, and I was just like, oh my god, like nipples are pebbling, like I need to fondle these, and I'm like, what?
Yes.
Like, there are other parts of everything.
Yeah, but they're like the more, they're the more sensitive zones.
Well, and it's just, I feel like, because every author is a little bit different. You always can kind of like, if you're reading a series, you can go through a series and I don't know if it's the author themselves or what they like, but it's like you can usually pick what they go for. Or what they like based off of what they write, because not every author does the same erogenous zone.
That's true. Honestly, like there are some, I've read a lot of romance, y'all. I'm just going to say that right now. I've read a whole lot. And like some authors are very, inventive with their erogenous zones. Let's just say that.
It makes me think of that Friends episode where they're teaching Chandler the 7 erogenous zones for a woman, and he's looking at it and he's like, is that really one? She goes, yeah, it's a really important one. He's like, oh, I was looking at it upside down. And I think it's Rachel who goes, sometimes that helps. And he's like, I gotta
is that the one where Monica just is like screaming 7?
Yep.
Okay.
7. And Chandler's just like, I love it so much.
Oh god. That is so funny.
Oh, Chandler. We're going to Yemen. Sorry, I could go on Friends for forever. Really? I need to get the whole
But
series.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about, so.
I know. I need to get the DVDs. Fun fact, I'd actually just bought Parks and Recreation. The entire complete series was $30. And yes, it was only a DVD. Sometimes you just need it. And I know that it's going away from Netflix because the stupid NBC is having their own freaking app. And why does everyone have their own different thing?
Seriously, like they all need, okay. But it's not over for me because they all need to get their act together, because this whole like, thing where it's like everybody has their own app that you have to pay a subscription for. I could just be paying for you guys on freaking cable. Like, honestly. Oh, thanks for
yes.
100%. 100%.
So yeah, I've started for some of the ones that I can like rewatch over and over and over again. I'm like, you know what? I probably should just invest in the DVDs, because then I can just pop them in at will and be done with it. It's nice to have it on a digital platform, but let me just tell you, between having to like pay a subscription and then maybe like $30, I'm like pay $30.
That's true.
And then just watch it on my laptop.
It's just one $30 payment. It's like one and done.
Yep. And then
that's what I should have done. Because I had like the Buffy TV series like on DVD, for the longest time, and it was on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'll just, like, get rid of these because they're just, like, taking up space, so whenever I want to watch them, I'll just pull it up on Netflix. I won't, like, get out the DVDs. And then the motherfuckers, sorry, they took Buffy off of Netflix. Like,
yep.
So how are me and Summer watching it? We're watching it on Hulu with ads. Oh, I hate it.
That's the worst. So yeah. Well, and then with like the DVDs, you get the extra features, and I'm just like, okay, like it can be worth it. And it's one of those ones where I was like, I have to know that I like it, because I used to buy like Flash and Arrow, and let me just tell you, those got old real fast. I'm probably never gonna rewatch them, and they're on Netflix. But if Netflix ever got rid of them, now I can at least have the first season of Stephen Amell doing his little.
Oh, the salmon ladder.
Yeah. I think I stopped buying them when they started having way too much drama between Felicity and.
Honestly, I just like it when it's the angst, and I like it when he does the salmon ladder every single episode, and that was season 1. He did the salmon ladder every single episode in season 1, and I'm just like, yes.
Rewatch those.
Yes. 100% yes. Salmon ladder, if you can, if you can do pull-ups on the salmon ladder, bow down to you, because that's hard.
But yeah, the next one I'm looking for is Friends. So I'm just like, keep an eye out. I put them in my wish list on Amazon, and then it's just like, okay, when it comes up with a great deal, like today, just checking randomly. I think when I added Parks and Rec, it was like $70, and I was like, no, not happening. I don't want to spend that kind of change. And then I was like $29.99, and I go, sold. Because it's 7 seasons. Yeah. You get all 7 seasons.
That's true, because it's the box set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Tangent.
That's fine. Tangent over. Tangent that would have been cut if this was a recorded video. Okay. So
But we're live.
So you get all the tangents. You're like, I'm sure Aaron's like, let's get back to the book, please.
Maharet's like, I could have gotten coffee during this time, but didn't know when you guys were coming back.
I was just like, I could be asleep. Maharet's like, I could literally be asleep, and you're talking about Parks and Rec. Like, come on.
Hopefully she likes Parks and Rec. All right, next post-it note.
Honestly, it's just like another little thought where it's like Anya is like decorating the fortress in Buddha, and I'm just like, it's so funny because like she put a stripper pole in, and I was just like, she would put a stripper pole in. I love Anya so much.
And then like the portrait,
so funny. Oh my god, yeah.
And you just know, like, if you take them down, she's gonna put up something so much worse. So they're like, okay, if I can live with this, I'll be fine. Because if I take it down, who knows what's going up next?
Oh my gosh! And
my heart loves the side stories.
Thank you. I love Maharet. I love you, Maharet. Thank you. Oh, so funny. My next little post note is basically just banter between William and Anya. And I just love how, like, they're friends again, even though William did, like, a really shady thing.
But, William, in the next book, too, him and who is this kid that they have in a school?
Jilly?
Like, yeah.
Jilly?
Am I supposed to remember that?
Yeah, that's Danica's sister. You know how Danica and her sister and her grandma and ma were all on the run?
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. I was just like, I remember they said something about Danica, and I was just like, I don't remember you, like, ever.
She wasn't, like, it wasn't like she wasn't the main focus. It was, like, the people that, like, Aaron had to kill were, mom, Danica, grandma, and then the sister. It was only because... Like, they wanted I think they just wanted to eradicate that entire family, just because I think they knew that Danica.
One of them was going to be
one of them. Yes. So that's
I remember that. Sorry. Thank you. I just, sometimes I need to re-jog it. 3.0 speed, friends, like, things slip through the cracks. You name drop someone once, and then I'm like, okay, I don't understand what your relationship was, but I don't know why I didn't piece that together, because as soon as you said it, now I feel like a fool. I'm a fool.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. When I was reading this book, I was honest, or maybe it's this book where she's brought up, it's when Anya and William were playing that game, and then they were talking to Jilly on the phone. And I was just like, and they literally just said her name once in this entire book. And I was like, wait, who's this bitch?
Who you mean?
Wait, what?
No, who it is?
And I was like, who are you talking to? But okay, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I remember now.
Aaron didn't remember either.
Honestly, there's so many characters. It's just like, can we talk about all of them all the time? No. So it's just like you just kind of
when we
just like sprinkle their name in there and just like, oh yeah, I remember. Not.
I figured when we got to William's book, they would go back to it, and I'd be like, oh, that's who you are. I know that's when they come. I understand that a lot can happen in the next like 10 books before I get to this. Because didn't you say The King is William's story?
Yeah, The Darkest King, the newest book that just came out this year, is William's story.
I am starting to like him now. I remember I told you in the first time that we saw him that I was like, he's a shady SOB. I actually
because he betrayed them. He betrayed them hardcore. So, but yeah, he's helping. He's helping them now. He's making up for it. He lives in the fortress. He's helping them. So, yeah.
As soon as Anya started liking him, I was like, all right, you know what? If she likes him, if she forgave him, I forgive him too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody died. We're fine.
Nobody died. We're fine. Fine. So, quick question. Do you ship Jilly and William?
Right now, yeah. Because that's who they have like the little banter back and forth, but then he's like, I'm too old for you and you're too young, and I was just like, I ship it. I ship it right now.
I think Maharet would know this. Maharet, how old is Jilly at this point in these two books? Like when we first meet her, because I can't really remember. Is she 16, 17?
So I want to say she's probably got to be like 8. Oh, was she in high school? I thought she was in college, so I assume like 18, 19. So young, but not like.
She's still above the age of consent, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I figured she was at least of consent age.
Okay.
That was my interpretation. Although she did need to be checked out of school, so maybe I'm thinking that she's not in college, because why would you check someone out in college? So she's
like
probably
maybe she was in high school.
Oh, 16.
See,
never mind. We're gonna have
yes. Jilly is a waitress working with Danica. Oh, okay. Oh. Danica's sister's Ginger. Okay, here I am thinking that she's Danica's sister. See? Maharet keeps us in check. Thank you.
Even at 3 a.m. Thank you so much, Maharet. I mean, I guess we're closer to 4 a.m. I'm going to terribly butcher this, but Guten Morgen. It's about the only thing I know.
She's a baby.
She is.
16. So she's 16 when we first meet her. And then obviously, like,
at least go 10 years probably. Because when was this book?
10 years. But is it a full year for each book? Like, because Ashlyn...
Don't judge this by that. It's 2010. So it could be at least 10-ish years around there. So she'll be of age.
Do you mean by William's book?
Yeah. Okay. Or she'll be dead, then you're going to have someone else new, and then I'm going to be heartbroken. Look at that. Look at that, Charles. She's doing it again.
I'm sorry. There was just something really interesting on this wall over here. Like, okay.
False.
False. There's nothing on the wall.
I know it for a fact. It's not like my wall of fun stuff over here. I should show you guys my wall sometime.
You should.
No kidding. We don't have to. Let's talk about the book first.
Turn the laptop. Okay. So I was just wondering if you shipped Jillian William. So
I do, but I didn't realize she was that young. So maybe a little less now.
Honestly, because in the books you just you kind of forget whose
age. Well, okay, so I'm reading Name of the Wind.
Like whose ages? Like I don't know. Like
True. That's the other thing. We need every time someone's name pops up, just occasionally in brackets, put their age. But yeah, I'm reading Name of the Wind, and Kavoth, he's 12 at this point, and talking about so much stuff is happening, and I forget how old he is, because I assume he's 18 because he's taking care of himself, but sure 18.
Aaron is calling it out. I mean, that's where's the lie? Where's the lie? I mean, we just have to, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, she has to be over the age of consent. That is like, that's a hard line for me. That's a hard line.
I thought she was older.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
But yes, as you said in the past, consent is sexy. So age of consent is big.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. They have to be
both underage, and then it's a YA novel rather than this type of romance. So then it's going to be like Twilight when you have a gap in between paragraphs 1 and 2, and you're like, what's in here? I should know.
Like, for YA stuff, it's just like, okay, they're not going to be, you know, like mostly YA is just full of angst. It doesn't have like the explicit, the explicit stuff. So it's like
the goods.
So when you have a 16-year-old and an adult paranormal romance series.
My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize her age.
I didn't realize her age either, but I'm just saying, like, it's supposed, like, the way that it's written, especially in this book, is that you are expecting, and you actually, especially when you get into the later books, and Maharet can back me up on this, that you do start shipping William and Jilly. You do.
I mean, I already do, but I'll wait 2 years before I'm like captain of the ship. I'll just be like, we're building the ship right now.
You're like, it has potential.
We'll wait to shatter the champagne glass on the hall on her 18th birthday, and then we'll be like, set sail, you're safe to go.
Yeah, exactly.
The icebergs are out of the water. Hey, your mother-in-law's here.
Hey! Hi, Bev. How are you? Hi. Can you do me a favor and text your son and say that you're watching? Thanks. That'd be great.
Because he's watching YouTube, but not us.
Yeah, he was watching YouTube. I don't know if he's still watching YouTube. He might be playing a game, but he was watching YouTube earlier, but he wasn't watching us. Just saying.
Hurtful. But I mean, I'll survive it, but you know.
I know.
Nicole, I'm not sure about you.
Oh, that is so funny. That's supposed to know. Okay, it's basically it's William and Anya's banter that I just love them like going back and forth. I just she writes good dialogue. I'm like, don't you think like Gena Showalter writes good dialogue? See, Maharet does.
Except for, okay, so remember, I did not love the dialogue when people, so not in these last two, but.
You didn't like the dialogue when people started falling in love. You like the angst, and you're like, oh yeah, let's get together. But when they like immediately got together, you're like, oh no, I don't like it. Like, I don't believe anything you say anymore.
Too fast it was like whiplash being like, oh no, I shouldn't be like, I love you so much. And I was like, oh my God, it hurts.
Well, honestly, there is something that happens in each of these books that kind of pushes the Lord over the edge. Because it's usually the Lord that's the one that's like keeping the distance between himself and the female protagonist. And it's usually, I don't want to say all the time, but it's usually a life or death situation that's like makes him click and realize like, oh my God, I do love her. I can't live without her. And then bang. So it's like,
in these last two, I did not have as much of an issue with that. I felt like the angst was still enough throughout.
That's because at least in this book, I'm pretty sure I probably have a post-it note for this one. On this one, the banging scene didn't even happen until we were like a third of the way from the end.
Text him.
Just text him. I love it. My mother-in-law is on my side. Oh, so funny.
Oh,
so fun. But yeah, so this one I felt like it did have some sexy times like sprinkled throughout, but not like, you know, didn't go full, you know,
until like the last 100 pages.
Until the last 100 pages. I'm like, not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate. But yeah, it's just like like I said this in the beginning, Aaron held out. He did. And I was like, I'm getting real sick of you. I'm doing it right now. I'm getting
You know
sick
me.
of it.
I like the hunt more than I like the kill. To use Aaron's term. Yeah. From last week.
Oh my god, that's for sure. I do like a good slow burn, but that's not what I typically reach for. It's like,
But I like, so even like historical romances, it's just like that slow burn. You're angsty until you finally get there, and then you're like, yay! But then even after they get there, there's drama afterwards that keeps it like tension.
Yeah. I think I said that in the beginning, Aaron, that, like this was the first book that we have that the demon was all for, being with the female protagonist. And then it was the Lord that was hanging back. I just thought that was a nice, refreshing change. But yeah.
I very much liked how the demon got on board in Passion. Sorry, I can't remember. We're reading them too fast. I'm just like, which one was it? Passion.
Which one are we talking about?
Where Wrath was just like, was it Wrath?
It was Wrath, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, but I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Next Post-it note.
Back to the other book.
I really okay, so what was holding Gwen it was mostly Gwen back in this book is that she didn't want to go, like, she did not trust her harpy self. Yeah. Like I don't want to say it's like partly her sister's fault because they did kind of baby her a little bit. They just didn't let her grow up and control. I mean, she's only 27 years old, for goodness sake, So it's like she hasn't had centuries to get her harpiness under control. Yeah. So it's like, so I get that, but it's just like she is so powerful. She's so powerful that it's almost a necessity for her to, bring the harpy out and get that, control, because she's so dangerous.
Yeah.
And because we have, other females in the house where they're not immortal, I'm like, yeah, they are, even a lord who is quote unquote immortal can still technically die under the correct circumstances.
Right.
So I really liked that Sabin pushed her, and he was just like, trust me, like, you need to bring your harpy out. You need to be able to fight and bring her out on command, and also, control her when she is out. So it's when she was feeling those high intensity emotions, like, the sexual, attraction and sexual, like, lust, and that she was feeling with Sabin, and she was very, very possessive of him. So that just kind of brought it out. So I just really loved, like, it was almost like a training montage where she was like, they were like fighting each other, and
I like how they take bets who would like make it out alive.
Yeah. And like Sabin got to the point where he was like pushing her, like, I don't know if it was like too hard, but he was like, you need to be able, and not just in the training field either. Who was doing that?
I'm sorry. No, it's fine. I can hear something, and I was like, what?
I can hear it too. It's like a knocking.
Yeah, it's Jack. I closed my door.
Oh,
I
Jack
opened the door.
Oh, man.
But I was just like, what is that? Like, is someone going to come and attack me? And then I was like, what could it possibly be? It's Jack.
It's Jack. He's so cute.
Wants to be on, but I left him out in the other room with the parental unit.
With the parental units. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Sabin Sabin not only like pushes her like during like the fights and the training, he also like kind of pushes her sexually, and I was just like, that kind of like brings out like the dubious consent, in my opinion. Like, she's actively saying no, like she's not comfortable, and he like continues. She
didn't want to like hurt him because she was afraid that the harpy would come out, and so
he was trying to show that he didn't want the sexy times. It's just that she was scared that. So, but I'm just like, I've said it 1,000 times on my channel. Consent is sexy. So when a woman is actively saying no, even though like you're reading her internal monologue and she's like, she's obviously attracted to Sabin. She doesn't really mean no, like to the sex. What she means is that she doesn't want to hurt him, but still she is actively saying no. Yep. So I'm just like, is that just me? What do we think in the comments? Dubious consent. Because there's a whole romance genre based on dubious consent. Just saying.
It didn't bother me so much just because I felt like he pushed her, but then he also listened. So he would I think it got to the point where he would or he did something in like a training thing, like a fight, to prove that he could handle her, and then they went to the room where he was just like, okay, you trusted me on the fighting mat, essentially. You should be able to see that I can handle it here. So you kind of also have to like talk her in. I get it, like talk her into it, but at the same time, it's like understand that this scenario happening and me being able to control can also relate to this other situation where I can also kind of control.
And if we weren't, if we weren't getting her internal monologue where it's like her perspective and saying like, yeah, if
we weren't doing that, then I would be like, no.
She is all over him, like from the get-go, you know, like she is drawn to him. She's just scared. And, but I don't know. It's just that line from, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I like dubious consent books, like it just has to like the situation, but I was just wondering like what we all think about, you know, like dubious consent. So,
if we didn't get her perspective, I don't think I'd be as okay with it, but knowing why she was kind of nervous about it, and then also getting his perspective on like, okay, I've got to push her or she'll never push herself.
Right.
I get it, and it didn't bother me quite as much as if like we hadn't got those particular scenarios, both of them, then I would have been like, probably not.
So my next post-it note is just basically we were talking about earlier with Aaron and Legion, just saying, it's like chapter 15 of this book where he's saying like Aaron loves Legion like a daughter. So it's kind of like it sets up where we're going to get like a catastrophe happening in this book. So, but yeah, it's just, you know, and then we meet her sisters.
Her sisters are the best.
God, yes. I mean, I do like them. Sorry, I'm just with Aaron.
That's he put words.
He put words. We're going to the comments. Consent stuff was difficult at times in that book, especially not letting her go home after they saved her. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the next one.
No, it's fine. Dubious consent has to be done right. I like it when you know the character is down, but they're hesitant. Yes.
That's where I was like, he put the words together that I too couldn't.
Put the words together. Like, yes, like dubious consent works when it's done right, especially when you're getting that, the two different perspectives where it's, you know, there's also like this whole thing where like dubious consent is, you know, at least in BDSM is a kink where you're saying no when you actually means like you mean yes but like there's a safe word in place during BDSM, and it's a very, you know, I don't want to say controlled, but it is a very controlled situation when it comes to dubious consent within BDSM. So, and also like it's kind of tipping into the BDSM like category. Like here, I'm just going to say that because this got steamy. I had to fan off the book. It was like on fire. Yeah. So I'm just saying like this book got a little dirty, but yeah, I was here for it. You know, I'm like, but it's when like Gwen realizes that, you know, her man can take it kind of thing, you know? So it's like, okay. But thank you, Aaron. Yes, dubious consent does have to be done right. What I don't like is you find a lot of this also like in historical romances, like that one that Laura made us read. What is it called? I can't remember what it is.
Don't remember, but she was just like,
I think I'm remembering.
It could be borderline rapey, but it's not. And I was like, she literally said no.
It's literally full on rape because she is shouting and fighting him off, saying no as he's penetrating her. So I'm just like, that's no. No.
That was a fun discussion, and we're all like, she did she liked him, but she didn't want to do it at that moment. So she was just like,
no.
But at the same time, she was saying no. So I was like,
she was
this is done wrong.
saying no and fighting him off. Like, that's not dubious consent. That is straight on not getting consent and raping your female protagonist. Like, I'm not for that. So, like, you do see some of that. Oh, I remember the author. Her name is Jennifer Horseman. Like, why do I just remember the author and not the title of the book? I don't know why. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Look it up. But yeah, it's Harpy Claus.
Jennifer Horseman. Harpy
He loved it. Sabin loved it. He's like, he took it like a champ, you know, like her Harpy's Claw came out, like dug into his flesh, and he was like, he didn't even like move. I was like, yes.
There's no author with the name Jennifer Horseman.
No, honestly, I feel like the last name is Horseman. I don't know, but honestly.
I was like, I'd try to go through my 2 reads, but it would probably take way too long. I don't know if I rated that one.
Oh, yeah, it's Jennifer Horseman. Horseman without an E on horse. It's Forever and a Lifetime. It's this book right here.
That's the one. I remember that one.
Look at Fabio on that cover. Look at that. Don't read that book. I'm just saying.
It got better after that moment.
Yeah, sure. Okay. But yeah, so like so bad. But yeah, her sisters are great. I love the Harpies. They're fantastic.
Come in, Adam.
Oh gosh, they love like her sister, obviously, but there are like certain rules within the hierarchy for
so many rules. And he was starving her and he didn't even know.
Yes. Well, it's just like, can you like tell somebody the rules, or you don't want them like someone who could be your potential enemy to know the secrets of your race? Like they have to steal food, or they have to earn it. They can't sleep around, like, because you have to sleep in trees. They can't sleep with somebody, like literally, not like sex, but like literally sleep, because you leave yourself vulnerable. And
you can find your wings. And I was just like, when he did that to her, I was like, no, like that's so bad.
That was
she just gave you this information.
That was the one time in this book where I was like, he like went after her wings. I was like, she trusted you with that information. You done messed up, Ron. But his name is Sabin. Like, you literally, you messed up. That was not. And honestly, I I supported her 100%. Where she was like, I have to go. Like, you use that against me. I was like, you had better be on your knees, groveling for forgiveness, like that kind of stuff, for like that betrayal. No.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
That's a hard no.
Hard no. But then she just did the same thing to her sister. So she's like, I get it. That's like an easy way to write out, Gena. Like an easy way to write out what happened in there.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, okay. But then we found out that, you know, the person who can control the rage that the harpy gets into is like the consort. And consort is kind of like the fated mate situation, where we have like a different kind of fated mates, and consorts are for life. And I love the fated mates. You know, like if you have a paranormal romance and you don't have a fated mate situation, it's kind of like, what are you even writing paranormal for? I was like, come on, like fated mates, paranormal romance just go together like peanut butter and jelly. And then when Sabin and Gwen finally do the sex,
do the
sex, she was kind of wild and out of control. And she's so funny. She's like, I didn't rape you, did I? I was like, oh, honey, you're so sweet.
She's 27. Her sisters have sheltered her so much.
She was so sheltered. Oh my God, I was dying laughing. That was so funny. And then when Sabin realizes that like he doesn't want her like out in the battle because he loves her, even though he didn't say that. He loves her, and he was just like, he was saying like, I don't want you going out there. I want you to stay here away from the action. And she was like, yeah, right. She laughed again. Her humor restored. Funny. And he's like, I'm serious. I have your sisters. I don't need you.
Yeah, when he said that, I was just like, no. Wrong choice of words. And she's already like very nervous, and she just not nervous, but she's self-conscious. There we go.
Yes.
And so to say that was bad word.
I was like, no, that's not okay. That's not okay, because she was working so hard, and that is basically what you were training her for. And now you're just going to change your mind without explaining why you're changing your mind. Like, come on.
Help us out.
Help a sister out, like, come on. That's why you were doing this whole thing. That's why you wanted her to figure out a way to control her heartbeat so she can be beneficial. She wants to be beneficial. She doesn't want to rely on someone to protect her, because she's obviously super powerful by herself. Like, she doesn't need no man. She just needs to control her heartbeat, And so, like, Sabin, you need to trust her. Gosh. Aaron agrees that fated mates are wonderful. Okay. So my next post-it note is it's just a little thing. It's just a little thing. When Turin was looking at his like the computer systems and the cameras and everything, and he noticed a woman who was wearing a t-shirt that said Nixie's IAD House of Fun. And he did a quick Google search and figured she was some sort of Immortal After Dark. So the Immortals After Dark is a different paranormal romance series by Kresley Cole. And Gena and Kresley Cole are like really good friends. So I just love that, like, you name drop another series in the book. And I was like, that's another series that you have to read because it's really good.
I have some of them.
You can't see, Aaron knows. Yeah. You can't tell her to stay at home when he's the one. It was Aaron, thank you. It was literally his idea for her. It was his idea for her to control her heartbeat and just be like a really good asset to the team. Like, okay, just because you realize you figured it out that you love her, like, come on, like, that doesn't change, like, at least without like being honest with her. Yes. It's just like, why do you have this change of heart? Well, bitch, it's because I love you. Like, that's why. Like, that's all. Honestly, just say it. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. Like, bitch, I love you. Like, the miscommunication and the hero not communicating things to the heroine, and vice versa. I'm not just saying it's like it's the hero that's doing it. It's also the heroine that can like have secrets and not being completely honest. But I'm just saying, like, this book was heavy. And also this book, Aaron, he hates the truth, honestly. Like, he couldn't tell the truth to Olivia to save his damn life, but that's something else I will talk about. Like, honestly, seriously. And we find out who Gwen's father is. Can we talk about like jaw hitting the damn floor when you find out Gwen's father is Galen?
Yeah. Oh. I was like, what now? Did not see that one coming.
And it's like, because, like, he's passing himself off as an angel, and her mom kind of had that feeling of hope, because he's the keeper of hope, the demon of hope. And he's like, she didn't realize that, like, she kind of did, not a wrong thing, but it's like she kind of acted, against her logical way of thinking just because he was giving her false hope. Right. So that's, I was just like, holy moly.
Being like our arch nemesis and you're the daughter. Oh.
And then I have my other. Can you tell?
Yeah, the wings got bound.
Exactly.
She trusted you.
She freaking trusted you. That's not right. She trusted you. And you bind her wings? Like, no.
As soon as he did that, I was like,
that's not it.
That's not good. Not good, son.
It's not good. It's not good. Okay, this is when Gideon and Anya and Lucian, and I think Strider is in there as well. They're all locked in that. They were locked in that chamber because they're looking for clues for the artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
And freaking Stefano. Every time, okay, let's tangent. Every time I hear the name Stefano, I just think of
7 from Vampire Diaries.
No.
I tried to guess where you were going, but no.
No, I think of a series of unfortunate events in book 2. He talks about like he Count Olaf takes on the persona of Stefano. And so I just think of that. Every time I see that, totally tangent. I'm so sorry. But so Stefano is telling them that Sabin and like they're dead, and he's telling, and like Gideon, he basically tells the truth for like the first time because he's lies, and so he's like I'll kill you, I'll fucking kill you, you will die by my hand. And like just that, like obviously he feels so like emotional because those are his brothers, like his family, like he like loves them so much, and like he's just like, I have to tell this mother effer like to his face that like I'm gonna kill you, and it's probably like worth every ounce of pain that he feels like when he tells the truth. Getting vibes of revenge and heartbreak.
Yeah, I know when what's her face slept with him, and I was like,
Jen's like, are we supposed to like this?
Are you guys getting the story? And that was my first impression was like, are you guys getting the story like eventually? And then I was like, that means I'm gonna have to like you, and I'm right there with you. I'm not sure I'm liking it either.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay, so my last post-it note for the Darkest Whisper. Oh god, yeah, Gideon's hands being chopped off. Like that was.
I feel so bad for that guy.
Yeah, he was tortured. Yeah, honestly, poor thing.
Poor little guy.
But I do like in this book, he's recovering from his lost hands, and Ashlyn is reading him a romance novel. I freaking love that. I love it. So yeah, that was the Darkest Whisper. But yeah, it really got like the steaminess factor kicked up a notch in this book. I'm just saying.
And then we put it down to simmer.
And then we put it down to simmer. Slow ass burn. Slow burn.
Just love how every time she was just like, this is what I want to experience. So like the first time she saw him, she was like, he's in the shower, he's gonna be naked, like I've got to walk there. But because she's so used to her wings, she can't walk. And by the time she gets up, he's already out of the bathroom.
Honestly, I was feeling like so many times, I was feeling like secondhand embarrassment for this girl. Like, honest, I was like, oh, you poor thing. Oh my god.
Was sheltered. Nope.
She's like, and then he gets out of the shower and then goes to get dressed in the closet. She's like, I have another chance. And she literally falls like
on her face. And he's just like fully clothed. Like, what are you doing down there?
What are you doing? Like, I'm just trying to seduce you. No. Don't mind me down here. Like, don't mind me down here. I'm just trying to seduce you. Is it working yet? No, bitch. Like, what are you doing?
It makes me think of that Kevin Hart thing. I don't feel pretty. Bitch, you ain't.
Yes. I don't feel pretty. You ain't. Oh my god. That's so funny. So she was trying to peep on him. Yeah. She's like, this is my chance. He's naked. I'm like, come on.
I've been really good up to this point, but now that I'm here, I'm going to live life to the fullest.
Honestly, she took that like by the horn. She was like, she dressed up in that like short little skirt and like the bra and panties and like the crop top. I was like, she went full out. She was like, dang, she went for it.
Well, I think who was it? Was it one of the harpies that had done that for her? Yeah.
Yes.
They immediately knew, like, you can talk to her while we get her, like, made up and doing the eye makeup and everything.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. Yeah,
all right,
the Harpies make everything better. It's
yeah,
so
they do.
Funny.
Yeah,
but my first post note is basically, you know, it was just Olivia like walking up to the fortress and she's all bloody and like Aaron was saying, like back in the beginning, like it was very jarring. If you didn't read that novella, you have no idea
who this person is.
Who it is. Yeah. It's just like, and why is she screaming Aaron's name? And like, why should he care about this person? Just the fact that, you know, she's quote unquote, maybe, and yeah, she did get drunk. That was hilarious.
The giggle
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they're feeding these women like things that just are just going to get them like alcohol poisoning. Like, do we not learn our lesson with Ashlyn? Like, I don't understand.
Technically, Aaron wasn't the one that gave her the alcohol.
No,
she was the one that just.
It was Gideon when she was reading the romance novel after Ashlyn left. But yeah, that was hilarious. That was so funny.
Oh gosh.
But no, we didn't learn our lesson at all with Ashlyn, apparently. But
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. But yeah, it was very jarring because if you didn't read that novella, you don't understand what Olivia went through. You don't understand that she was the entity that was following Aaron around, and you don't even know why that she was following him around for
good while, because
yeah, for a good while, because you know she does kind of explain it later, you know, when Aaron's like, bitch, who are you, kind of thing.
Like, I don't know.
She was just like, you know, and she was like, honestly, she was probably like the sweetest angel on the planet. She was like a joy bringer. That was literally who she was. Her literal job was just to make people happy. And then they decided to like make her a warrior, and she's like, here, kill this person. And she's like, I don't want to. And I'm like, how can you fault her for that? She is not a warrior. Like there's the different hierarchy and the different classes of angel. Like Lysander, his wings were pure gold. He was the literal, like almost like in the Magnificent Seven of angels, where he was literally, you know, he was the warrior angel.
Yeah.
But, you know, if, you know, the one true deity sent Lysander after Aaron and not poor little Olivia, we wouldn't have this story because, let's face it, Aaron would be dead. Yeah. He would be dead. I'm just saying, because Lysander can kick some butt. I'm just
saying. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Or
so,
not he is. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, I can. So, yeah, it's very like, okay, who is this? Like, this book is honestly long enough where it kind of feels like, okay, yeah, this book is hella long, but we are still confused like the first half of the book until Olivia explains like who she is. Like, if you didn't read that novella, because there are a lot of people who don't read novellas. So
yeah. Well, and that novella probably came out, I don't know if it came out before or after this book, but I would assume that it probably came out afterwards because most novellas do.
I don't know that. I don't know.
Well, I'll look that up. You tell me about the next post-it note. I'll try and figure it out.
My husband texted me asking what I want for dinner. So, but yeah, so it was, you know, yeah, I completely understand with Aaron. It was just very, very jarring. My next post-it note is basically, it was just a little funny where I was just laughing out loud. And she was talking about how she was seeing Aaron's tattoo, and like, she's like, I want to lick the butterflies, bad, naughty girl. And like, she's like, well, I'm not fully an angel anymore, she reminded herself, and she wanted to see and taste him. So see him and hopefully taste him she would. Or after everything she endured, basically her, you know, her stint in hell where she got, you know, tortured basically by demons. She's like, she deserved a little treat, or maybe a big treat. I was dying laughing. I was like, Olivia, oh my gosh.
Darkest Angel came out in 2016, and that book came out in 2010. So it did come out after.
It did come out afterwards. So I'm trying to remember. I know I read the novellas afterward, but I'm trying to remember the first time I read this book, if it affected my star rating at all.
That's a good question.
I don't know. But I think even when I first read the series, this was kind of like my least favorite. Even though, yes, I was like really excited that Aaron was getting his story. And but yeah, there was just too many things in here that I was just like unnecessary. Yeah. Unnecessary, not needed.
Next post.
Not okay. Yeah, and my next post note was basically just Legion realizing that Olivia was there in the fortress, and she's like, I'm not a baby and you can't like her, you just can't. I'll kill her right now. With that, Legion disappeared. I was like, well, that's not good. How are we gonna have like a happily ever after when like obviously Aaron really cares about Legion?
Yeah.
And did you hear that? Like I feel like Joe just like slammed the door.
Oh no.
Or it could have been Ruger. Where's Duchess? She's supposed to be. Oh yeah, she's right there. Duchess is in here with me. She was laying right next to me, and then she left. I was like, well, the door's closed. She just can't go very far. But yeah, so I was just like, well, obviously this is going to be an issue continuing on through the book because Legion ain't gonna give up. But
nope.
Nope. Yeah, and this is chapter 9 is where I was just like the demon falls in love with the female protagonist before the Lord does. And it's like Aaron was just basically trying to like convince himself that he was going to kick Olivia out of the fortress and have her live her life like outside. And it's like he would admit that he'd been holding her own until like he distracted her, a woman that he would kick out of the fortress very soon. And it's like the way she calmed and charmed wrath made him uneasy, throwing him off his game. Even now the demon purred, enjoying what was happening, eager for what was to come. I was just like, yeah, it's like he's on board. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, even like, and the demon, like his little, you get kind of like his internal thoughts, like the demon saying like more, he's saying more heaven, please. I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh, he said please. He's a good little demon. You say please.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, the demon got, like when he got on board with her, he wanted to protect her. I was like, what if Lysander sees like the demon is like becoming a better demon? Maybe he has some redeeming qualities. Maybe Aaron shouldn't be killed. I was thinking something like that would happen, but that did not.
Even in this book, I don't know who says it. I don't know who says it. I'm trying to remember. Maybe Maharet can help us out because she is the MVP of the series. Basically saying like after 1,000 years of being held within a host, like the demons were being humanized, quote unquote.
Oh, I don't remember who said it, but I remember the line. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, that makes sense. You know, it's just like they want to be happy too. Demons want to be happy. Oh, okay. So this was like the first kind of like sexual encounter between Olivia and Aaron. Attempted, yeah, for sure. And she rolled her hands over the slits where his wings come out, and I was like, oh, does he have sensitive wings too?
Yes. Makes me want to read Acmath so much.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Oh, Mahara doesn't remember either. It's okay. That's all right. And I'm not sure if I put a post-it note either, so that was bad. That was bad.
I feel like it's not. I don't know. I remember it, but I don't know who specifically.
Yeah, I don't either. I just remember the quote. And so like this was during their first attempt at sexy time. Okay, they're not exactly being quiet.
No.
But like this person at the door is very persistent. Like honestly, she's like yelling out, you know, orgasming. And like he's like knocking on the door. It's just like as a third knock reverberated, Aaron collapsed on top of Olivia, his strength utterly depleted. And I was just like, dude, like they're not being quiet. They are busy. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on.
Unless it was like their death, go away.
Like, come on. Like, they are trying. And it was Cameo. She's like, I heard screaming. I was like, Yeah, like, go away. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Aaron.
He came
through. Thank you.
Between Maharet and Aaron, I mean, what are we here for?
I don't know. It should be Aaron and Maharet in the live stream. We don't know what we're talking about. Oh, God. We're terrible. Okay.
Next post-it
note. Okay, this is when Olivia just dropped this bomb on Ashlyn saying, like, they're strong, your twins. Fire and ice. You'll have your hands full keeping them out of trouble, but you'll be happier for it. And she's like, oh, wait, what? I'm having twins?
And then she gave away the boy and the girl, and she's like, oh, you didn't know that either?
Like, both your son and daughter are healthy. A son? A daughter? She's like, I gotta go. I gotta talk to Maddox. I was like,
and she lets her walking away. She's like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's like, wow, like, she's better than an ultrasound machine. Yeah. It brings some misery into the situation. So true. Thanks, Cameo. God. Oh, God. Okay, so yeah, I think this is when Lucifer and Legion are making their deal. And Lucifer, yes, you are indeed ugly. Actually, saying you're ugly is being kind. I can hardly stand to look at you. In fact, to settle my stomach, I'm going to have to stare just over your shoulder while we finish this conversation.
I felt so bad.
I'm like, I get it. You're Lucifer. You're literally the devil. But that was a dick move.
Yeah.
Dick move. Come on.
Oh, I felt so bad when he said that. I was like, that's so mean.
Well, no wonder she makes the deal, because you're making her feel terrible about herself. Okay, so we're about halfway through the book with my next post-it note, and Aaron is still actively pushing Olivia away, but he's also, like, in his mind every time she goes, and she was just, because she is still, like, dead set on experiencing things and having fun, and so whenever she tries to, she's like, she shouldn't be so fickle. Is when I'm just like, listen, you can't have it both ways. You can either like, push her away and not want her, or you can, like, hold on to her, but you weren't obviously doing that because you held out for so long. Yeah, Aaron feels bad for Legion too. Okay, this post-it note is actually when they do the sex. Look at how much book we have to get through. I mean, come on.
I was like, she does make you wait quite a while in most of her books. It's usually towards the very end. I'm like, okay, usually if your book is like 300 pages, by 200 things are happening.
Yeah.
Intimately. If your book is 500 pages, I'll give you till 250.
At least have something in there. Something.
Yeah.
Am I right? Some heavy petting. Get to second base at least. Dang.
Let those nipples go.
Since you love the nipples, I mean, come on. So my next post-it note is basically, like, Olivia and Legion just having, like, this full-on cat fight, like, with like, I'm just like, oh my God, like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the fighting, like, over a man and, women, pitted against each other. I mean, I felt bad for Legion at a point, and then she made that deal with Lucifer. I was like, at that point, I'm just like, you deserve what you get. But also, I just, like, obviously, like I said in the beginning, obviously Aaron is not going to let Lucifer inhabit a body where he can get out of hell and just wreck the planet. Like, he's going to do whatever he has to. And poor Olivia, she's like, it was at that point where he does make that realization that, when Legion comes clean of the deal she made with Lucifer and saying what all needs to happen, if that doesn't happen, then Lucifer is going to be taking over her body. it was just that one scene where she was like, she realized that Aaron would do what he had to do to keep, the planet safe and humanity safe. And
that was terrible.
It was just a situation where she was also like, no matter how much like she loved him, like she couldn't stay after that.
Yeah.
If he did do that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't blame her.
I don't blame her at all. I don't blame her at all. It was just a very painful. I blame Legion 100%. 100% I blame Legion. I'm just like, and I feel bad because when Aaron, quote unquote, I have a post note for this too, but we can just jump ahead because we're literally almost there. When Aaron died, when Lysander came and he was fighting Lysander, and he was just like, this is how you fix everything. This is what happens. Like, if you die, Legion's bargain with Lucifer is destroyed. Yep. Done. And he won't walk the earth. He won't, kill the lords and make their demons, raise the planet, basically. Yeah. And Olivia will get to go home. She'll get to be an angel again. And yeah, that was a pretty rough scene because obviously you're kind of like, okay, this is a romance. It ends in an HEA. What is our main male protagonist doing? Just dying in this book. Like, what are you doing? Stop it.
This is unacceptable.
Unacceptable. My next post note is just basically like, this is when Olivia was taken by Galen and she was tortured by the hunters.
Oh, yeah, that was hard.
That was rough. That was rough. And when Dominic died, I was very sad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was very sad because he was with the hunters, and then Strider was like, I'm saving your life and you're going to deliver a message for me. And he was with Olivia, and he was like, I don't know who's evil anymore, because we're supposed to be like the hunters. We're supposed to be on the side of good, but how can they do this to like a defenseless female? Like she was tortured. Like she was hit. Her arm was broken. You know, like she was getting the crap beat out of her. So I was sad when Dominic died. Olivia and Legion should have just agreed to both be with him. It's book 5. We could have a harem theme at this point, right? Honestly, like, who is saying that? I was literally watching a YouTuber the other day who were talking about, I think it was Cecilia at that Disney chick. She was talking about how, like, they're not really called love triangles. They're called love tents because they don't all love each other like a triangle. And I'm like, that is so true. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's not a true love triangle unless they all like love each other and like get in like a menage.
I thought at one point they were gonna have like a 3-way so that she could have the moment with him.
Oh
but
my
then
God.
She would still be there to be like, okay, you've had that, like, get away type thing. I don't know.
Can we just say like how I'm so glad that we didn't have like the attempted scene between Legion and Aaron, because that would have been so embarrassing. Like, he obviously is not going to be able to get hard, like to be able to consummate anything with Legion.
He talked about that too. He's just like, the thought of it is like absolutely repulsive. And I was like, it's such a sad thing to say. But also at the same time, like,
duh, because he thinks of her as a daughter, so he's not like, if he did get hard, I'd be worried about him. Like, God,
I feel like there's judgment happening, and
hardcore.
It's extreme. I don't think you can come back from that judgment.
I don't think so. That's so terrible.
Next post-it note.
my next post-it note was, oh my God, Jen, me too. No coming back. There's not. I'm just so glad we didn't have that scene, because holy shit, that would have been terrible. But yeah, my next post note is, I literally almost called her Simi. Legion and Galen's like sex scene, and she's like, I'll see you in hell, and like she's like, and like sank her teeth into his neck and like the poison, and I'm just like, whoa. Okay, that's one way to do it. And then I guess it's like a slow acting poison because he doesn't die right away, because they were talking about how at the end of the book where like obviously Legion is back in hell because when Aaron got the bond between them broke, and so she basically was forced back to hell. And the deal that Olivia made with the one true deity is that Olivia is in charge of Aaron's joy and happiness. So part of that joy and happiness is, unfortunately, having Legion around. And
but she already kind of set herself up for that. She was like, I guess I'll be your stepmom.
Right? Right. But he has to literally get her out of hell. He has to get her out of hell. And he was talking about how Galen was like trying to get her out of hell too. And I was like, oh my God, that'd have been so funny if he just like falls in love with Legion. And doesn't give him, she doesn't give him the time of day. It's so funny. My next post-it note is basically just about like the Pandora and just Baden, like that whole that's a really good like setup to a hate to love. And I was just,
well, they've been together for how long now? So it's like I assumed that was gonna become
a thing. A thing.
Giving more wine to drink for a little,
Mm-hmm. My last post-it note is Wrath the demon is tied to Sienna now. And so
unfudging believable.
But hey, at least she's still alive, right?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
how's that gonna work for Paris? Let's just be real.
How's what?
I said, how's that gonna work for Paris?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Is she only alive because Kronos and she's in,
I wonder if there's a way to suck it out of her and then put it back into Aaron.
Well, apparently we're switching demons left and right. I mean, they put distrust into somebody, and so they have a way to do it. But yeah. But yeah, my favorite part of this book is Scarlet and Gideon, and I just want,
I want answers.
Their story is the next book. But unfortunately,
this was it.
Tonight marks the end of our live stream discussions of the Lords of the Underworld, because next month, if you can read my sign up here, next month is Twilight.
Twilight is next.
Twilight is next. We are going to be reading and discussing the Twilight series. Not next week, but the week after. We are starting July 8th. We are starting book number 1, Twilight, because we are getting ready for the Midnight Sun release, which is August 8th. So,
Team Edward. We're gonna bring that back.
Honestly, I think I still have my Team Edward shirt if I can like squeeze into it, because my boobs are like 2 sizes bigger than they were when I first bought that shirt.
I used to make shirts all the time. I had so many. Actually, Courtney, my friend Courtney from film school, Twilight is why we like each other, because we came up with a joke about Robert Pattinson because he's a smoker. So we had a joke where we would throw a pack of like Nicorette gum at him and be like, we're saving your life, ass face. So for some reason that became like a little joke between the two of us, and we had Twilight Fridays because that's when our class was together, and we would just talk about Twilight, and that was the beginning of our forever long friendship.
That's so sweet.
We're gonna have a lot of stories to talk about for when Twilight comes about.
Maybe she'll watch the live streams.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't think this book would have been up her alley, so maybe we can get her to watch the Twilight ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's basically all my post-it notes for these 2 books. And I was thinking, I put in the description box, maybe once Jen reads or catches up with the entire series, we can do like a live stream like wrap up of the series, but that won't be for a while.
Months.
Because
there's a lot to read, guys.
Yeah, next month we're talking about Twilight, and the week after
Kitty Couture.
September we're doing the Kitty Couture series by
Julie. I got him over here. No, Julie Chase.
Julie Chase. these books. We're doing these books in September.
And then in December, I think we decided already. I know there's 2 months in between there, but December, wasn't it the Apple Cider Mysteries by Julie and Lindsay?
Did we decide that?
I thought so, because you said it was Christmas themed. And I was like, what if we put that for December? And you're like, I'm down.
The first one, yeah, the first one is about her Christmas Tree Farm Mysteries series.
Maybe it's that one.
But she's writing the third book in that series, which only books 1 and 2 are out. So the first book is, I think I have it over here. Yeah, I do. 12 Sleighs of Christmas. I mean, I like this cover, but I do like the original cover better. This was like a reprint. I do like the original cover. So I do want to get those 2, but like every other one of her books, they are very hard to find. Honestly. Let me see if I can find it on 12 Sleighs of Christmas. Okay, so yeah, the first one is the 12 Sleighs of Christmas.
Oh, that's a cute one.
The cover is so adorable. And then the second book in this series, oops, my bad.
How dare you?
My bad. The second book, is 'Twas the Knife Before Christmas. I just think that's so hilarious. So yeah, I do want these covers, and she's finally, because that book, 'Twas the Knife Before Christmas, came out in 2018. So
been a year or two. Been a hot minute.
I definitely,
like quarantine to punch out a book.
Well, I think because it was just so popular, it just got like a whole, like with the Cozy Mystery Book Club, like a lot of people like demanded like these books, because we read them for the Cozy Mystery Book Club. And I think it was like back by popular demand, and her publisher was able to wanted like the third book in the series, because obviously it's not over yet. But yeah, I love that series. That series is really cute too, like every other thing she writes that I love. But yeah, we could do that. I'm totally fine with that. But
I thought it had been a thing. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. I don't remember it, but that's not abnormal, because my memory is terrible. As we, go through the live stream and I forget stuff, obviously. But yeah, if nobody has anything else they do want to talk about, obviously we talked about 2 books, so we're going on 2 hours for this live stream. We're probably going to wrap it up for the night.
I'm hungry.
Huh?
I said I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. Like, hopefully, my husband went and got like cooked up dinner, because
I was just like, my stomach, I can hear it. And at one point I was like, I hope you guys can.
So like, shut up. But yeah, so I think we're gonna call it a night. So yeah, join us next month. We're gonna be talking about the Twilight series and Twilight.
Oh, so many things to say and discuss.
It's gonna be interesting, just because, again, this is gonna be the first reread I've done for that series. Like, I've only read the books like the one time.
I think I read them. So as they were coming out, I think I reread a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I read them since they came out and the popularity died down.
Right. And Erin, thank you so much. Yes, I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers, and to all of my new subscribers over the last few months, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking that subscribe button and becoming a part of this crazy family. But yeah, we're gonna do. I know in the next couple of weeks I have a romance group that I'm a part of. We're going to be doing because a lot of those girls have a couple of milestones. One girl's hitting 500 subscribers, another girl's like 2.5K, and so it's, some of us are hitting some milestones. So we're going to do like a milestone, live stream celebration. So there's going to be more info on that in the coming week. So look out for that. Maharet, thank you so much. You are the MVP of this live stream. Like, you wake up, the series better than we do, honestly. Thank you.
Too. I'm like, I should know who this person is.
I know.
Who's Jilly?
And we're like, Maharet, let me know if I'm wrong. So thank you for just getting up and watching, because that's, honestly amazing. I know it is, it's like 6:00 in the morning or
No,
4:00.
5 a.m. Come on.
5 a.m. 5
Pull
a.m.
yourself together. She woke up at 3 a.m. or 2 hours into it. That means it's 5 a.m.
Okay, thank you, math. Okay, like honestly, I feel like I should be asleep because no, I can't do math. But we all know how I'm terrible at like time zones. Like, come on,
True.
Jen. Come on. I live in Arizona.
The best. You were
I
like,
live in
for
Arizona
2 years.
where like we don't observe daylight saving time, but magically I just found out that we changed time zones randomly when daylight saving times happen. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So dumb.
Love that you were like so convinced. You're like, I've been doing this for 2 years, Jen. You're wrong. And I was like, I'm just gonna let you go off on that. I know you're wrong for 100%.
No one has literally said anything, but I'm just like, okay, great. And I'm just
you Google it, come back to me 20 minutes later, and you're like, oh my God, I've been lying my whole life.
But I was also like, okay, StreamYard is saying we're on Mountain Standard Time. And then one part in Google, like if you Google it one way, it says you're on Mountain Standard Time. But then if you Google it another way, it says you're an hour ahead in Mountain Standard Time. I was just like, y'all are nuts. Like, this is what happens when you don't observe daylight saving times. Like, why does Arizona have to be so difficult?
Actually, it's much nicer, so we don't have to think about having to wake up an hour early, or like I feel like it would just throw off my whole schedule. I mean, it still does because my work observes it, so I have to in terms of work schedule, and it literally ruins my life. So for everyone that has to go through with it, I'm pretty sure you hate it. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But yeah,
I just hate it because like in the winter when we wake up, it's still like dark outside. I hate that. Like, it's like, I feel like I should still be asleep. But if you wake up in the summertime, I wake up at the same time every day. But then one part of the year, the sun's not awake. And then the other part of the year, yeah, the sun's awake. I'm like, I don't understand. All right. Well, that is it. That is it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone for hanging out. Have a really great night. Thank you for sticking with us, because obviously tangents are a thing when Jen and I get together. So I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and we'll see you next month when we discuss Twilight.
2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.